So what are arguments? Well, functions can be defined like the main function to take no input values, but as you can see in the Flutter source code, they can also be defined such that they do expect some input values. And that's the part between those parentheses. Here you can specify a list of input values that are needed by the function to work correctly. Some functions don't need any input, like main, other functions do. And these input values are called parameters or arguments. Technically, they're called parameters when we talk about them when defining a function, and arguments when we talk about them when calling a function, but I will simply use these terms interchangeably in this course. So run app needs one argument, one input value to display something on the screen. And this should make a lot of sense because, like this, at the moment, how would run app know what to display on the screen? Well, the input value it needs is the content that should be shown on the screen. So the user interface it should show on the screen. And for that, run app needs a so-called widget or widget tree as a value. Because Flutter user interfaces are built with widgets. When building a Flutter app, you don't use some visual drag and drop editor. Instead, you build your user interface in code by using so-called widgets. You typically combine many widgets with each other. You nest those widgets into each other, as you will see over the next lectures, to build a user interface. And since you end up nesting widgets into each other, you will actually end up with a so-called widget tree, where you have some root widget at the top, then maybe a child widget with another child widget, which then may hold multiple child widgets, simply depending on which kind of user interface you're building. And of course, all these words here, all these widgets on this slide don't tell you anything just yet, but that will of course change over the next lectures and sections. So Flutter user interfaces are created by combining and nesting widgets, for example by adding a text widget, which is something Flutter gives you to display text on the screen, inside of a button widget to have a button with some text. And Flutter provides many built-in widgets which you can use in your code, like buttons, form inputs, layout widgets, but you can also build custom widgets. And of course we will also do that, actually quite a lot throughout this course as well. So run app needs a widget or a combination of widget, a widget tree as I mentioned. So of course the question is which widget and how do we add a widget in code?